Love. Is that even a thing? The last time I ever felt anything like love was in high school. Don't pretend like you never had your share of high school love. It's a phase you can't miss. But in real life, can love alone suffice? So what's the correlation between love and money? And what happens if your female partner earns more than you? My name is Fati Elika Muloshi. Welcome to the show. Coming up on the show, evolving relationship dynamics to shifting gender roles in Africa. We take a quick overview of the situation. In Lagos, we asked a group of 77%ers how they feel about love and income in a relationship. We talked to Nora Awolowo, a Nigerian cinematographer who carved her space in a male-dominated industry. See, you might worry if your woman earns more, but that unease comes from society, not love. For women like Cindy, who were raised by single mothers, caring is more of survival than it is about dominance. Yet, that same instinct became her biggest hurdle as a successful performer married to a man who earned less.
This is Cindy, a fearless performer and fun magnet on stage. She's proudly known as the king herself. But behind this Ugandan star is a woman trying to balance motherhood, marriage, and money.
There's the Sanyu, who's just me, and I'm not interested in fame, and I don't want to have interviews, and I just want to be home and cook and clean and be with the children. There's that Cindy. And there's a Cindy who's like the work person.
Cindy began her music career when she was only 16 and rose to fame. In 2021, she married screen actor Prince Okuyo. With Cindy earning more money than her husband, she began footing most of the bills. At first, it all seemed to work out. After a while, it became an issue, threatening their relationship.
I thought I was fixing his life. You understand? I thought, my man has this issue. I'm going to fix it. He needs to pay for something. I'm going to pay for it. And I wouldn't ask for permission. I would just do it.
Cindy felt something was off in her relationship. It became much clearer when Prince mentioned to a mutual couple friend that all the extra care was beginning to make him uneasy. Raised by a single mother, Cindy grew up fiercely independent.
We need to stop waiting for the guys to tell us we're beautiful. Tell yourself you're beautiful.
It's not actually here that me and my man are not outgrowing. No, it's on the way I grew up. I didn't see anyone help my mother. You understand? I didn't see any man come up and say, oh, that woman, she's fragile. Let me take care of her. No, nobody did that. So I never look at myself as vulnerable.
Having co-founded Uganda's most successful girl band, Blue 3, Cindy eventually left to carve her own solo path.
Never give up, ladies.
But when it came to marriage, independence wasn't enough. The answer? A joint account that would serve them both.
We have an account where we both put money, not all the money, but there's a percentage of his money that gets into it. There's a percentage of my money. And we never discuss that account as Cindy's money or Prince's money. No, that particular account is our money. So in that way, nobody feels inferior.
You know the song, right?
Cindy's marriage is proof that love can flex and that men can be led without shame.
What's stopping you from going after that successful woman? Actually, more women are gradually out-earning their partners, thanks to education, entrepreneurship, and shifting job markets. But when paychecks flip, relationships are tested. So how did this recent trend come about? And can love survive when society still expects men to be providers?
African women are making progress across the spectrum, whether it's in the socio-economic space or in public representation. There's been an improvement. According to recent data, women in Africa have shown a slight improvement in gender equality, achieving a score of 50% across economic, social, and public representation areas compared to 48% in 2019. But why is this the case? Traditional gender roles are changing across various cultures. Women are getting more educated, more employed, and more money. But women are still missing from most leadership roles in politics and in business. Plus, the gap between what men and women earn has gotten worse, dropping from 61% in 2019 to 58% in 2023. This gap has led to a shift in traditional roles across the continent, and social media is helping more young African men and women revolutionize what gender roles actually mean. This has certainly shifted opinions on masculinity, feminism, and gender roles, and this has created an impact even in social relationships. Young people today have completely different expectations from their partners.
Men should be earning more, but also a woman can earn more. It's not limited to a relationship.
I feel like a man should be able to lead. And personally, if you don't make more than me, I don't think that's leading.
The question really is not who's earning more. Should the lady earn more, the man earn more? The question is there the respect?
Most of people use it to most women use it like they have a lot of powers than men when they have a lot than men. Yeah. So I guess men should earn more.
If you both earn much more, it's much better. Yeah, for life.
When you have a family, I think you should earn more in terms of men because you carry all the responsibilities compared to ladies.
I think the way you relate with your partner, it doesn't matter if you may be earning more, he may be earning more at some point of his life. So it's the way you relate with your partner.
Indeed, this topic is way beneath the surface. And so we took it online to ask our followers on social media what they think. The results are in and there's a tie somewhere. 36% said yes to income doesn't matter. Same percentage goes for those who believe the man should earn more. 21% have not thought about it, while the rest said it depends on other factors like looks. Let's break this down in our street debate. Edith Kimani was in Nigeria, the land of the big boys, to discuss this further. The question was simple. If she earns more than him, is he still the man? Here's how it went.
Hello and welcome back to the 77% Street Debate. This week, we are back in the home of the Oga, the boss, the big man. Of course, I'm talking about Lagos, Nigeria. And here in the city where everything is done big, so is masculinity. And so tied is this idea of masculinity and money that expressions like man must hustle are very common here. But today we are asking, what happens if the Mrs. Oga is making more money than the Oga? When she's earning more, is he still a man? Who better to answer this question for me than some fellow Lagosians, as they're called here? And I want to start with you, Evans, because I know you have a very interesting perspective on this. So do you believe that money maketh the man?
Yes, money does make it the man.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about that. What does it mean then about poor men? Are they not men?
Well, poor men are still men, but in terms of society standards, poor men are lesser men than richer men.
Oh, poor men are lesser men than richer men. Okay, so describe to me what a man is. For you, what are the characteristics that one must espouse to be called a man's man?
For a man to be called a man, you should be able to provide a certain level of security, not just for yourself, but for the people around you.
Let me put you on the spot then. Are you doing that? Are you the man's man that you're describing?
Yes, I am. I'm the only man in my family, so yes.
So we'll come to the pressures of the family in just a short while, but let me hear from Uche, because I know that you also have a similar perspective. You're laughing because you know what I'm about to ask. Does money maketh a man?
In some sense, yes. As a man, you need to do certain things. You need to be able to provide. You need to be able to protect your family. And even down to care. If you don't have money, you can't really express care. It's going to seem like you're just doing plenty talk if you can't actually show some workings.
Amara, let me come to you. At just 17, you're the youngest by far here. And yet, your ideas and philosophies around this subject are very traditional, one might say.
Yes, they are traditional in a sense of we are talking about what we see happening around us. There is still that sense of, and the culture and the shadowing of things like bride pricing and people coming and saying, oh, my child will be well off when they're finally married off, or they finally get a husband and that type of thing. That's when I can rest. And I think it's still that thing of, it is still in our society today where we understand that to have a relationship and to have a marriage, there needs to be that care and provision that comes from one to the other. But that doesn't mean I agree that that is how it should go. It is just what exists in today's society, that the man is seen as the caregiver, the breadwinner of the family, the man of the home. They are the ones that provide for the family. And if the woman then makes more, it unsettles that balance, sort of. Because then how is he still the man if he's not the one providing? Is she the man? That type of question.
Okay, so for you, much like Evans and Uche, manhood is about provision, it's about protection, and provision has to be financial.
Yes, but that's sadly what should not be the case, because we are modernizing, so men should not be defined by wealth, but sadly they still are.
Aisha, we're talking about a culture, a society that you're also a part of, but you hold a very different view from this. Tell me what you think about this.
He's still the man, in my opinion, because it shouldn't just be about provision. It shouldn't just be about money. What if he doesn't have a job? It should be about the other things he brings: protection, support, emotional stability, and so on and so on.
But we've heard here from Evans that in order for you to provide those things like support, like protection, you need to have money. What do you say about that?
So in this situation, she's earning. She's not poor. She's just earning more than him. So I believe he's also providing, just not to the scale where the woman is providing. So it shouldn't take away from the man.
All right, let me ask Chisom. Are you going to be okay dating somebody who earns less than you? Will you respect him in the household if he's making less?
Yes, I will. If masculinity is defined by how much you make, then billionaires should be called what? Kings? They are still men. Do you understand? They are still masculine. So masculinity doesn't define the level of their finance, or if he earns less, then he's feminine. No, he still has the X and Y chromosome. So scientifically, he's still a man.
As long as Nigeria is concerned, being rich, being a billionaire makes you king. A poor man, obviously, you will save a dog before they save a poor man. They'll save, sorry for that.
I wasn't ready for that. You'd rather save a dog than a poor man. Wow.
Society we live in.
Wow.
That's society we live
in. Okay. So this society that has so much pressure, where did these ideas come from? Let me actually ask a sociologist here, Ebenezer. These ideas don't just sprout out of thin air, right? So when did Nigerians start to form these beliefs?
Actually, it's not a Nigerian mentality, because it's a general mentality. The first thing is survival of the fittest. Every human being, either male or female, the first thing you are looking at is how to survive. So this differentiation now comes to what is the level of security I can build around me. But where we now got it wrong is when we now start seeing relationship as a term of two persons rather than two people coming together to form one. So when you are coming together to form one, you are not actually competing with yourself, but rather you are now a team. It does not matter who brings what. What is important is it is available. We are surviving, we are scaling, and we are not the way we were yesterday.
With every definition of the man, there is the other half that we've been talking about, the woman. And in our society, it is still very ingrained that the woman is the carer of the household. And so if the woman then is making more money, are they still expected to care and cook for the household as the woman? No, they are expected to be the breadwinners, to go to work, not to care for the children, for the household. In our society today, sometimes men stay at home, and instead of going to work, they care for the children and they care for the household, and that is okay. But that definition of the man, the breadwinner, as you have said in the beginning of this video, the oga, the one who's providing for the family, they are the man. And so the woman, in that sense, if they are making more than the man, is the breadwinner and is the man.
So normally at this point of the debate, I'm asking for solutions, but as I don't know if there's a problem, there's just different ways of doing things. Let me get some closing views.
I would just like to close on this note that when you are either in a relationship or in a marriage, don't be a man. Be a boyfriend or be a husband. Don't be a man. You are a man against the world, not in your family.
We have to understand that culturally in Nigeria, throughout time where we are right now in Lagos, the people come into relationship because of money, because of provision, because of culturally the man provides in the household and the women come together and care for the home. Because in Lagos, we are more developed. In other parts of Nigeria, they don't have that same benefits. Now, looking at in the home base, we have to understand that as long as you're not rooted in your own identity as a person and you don't come together for love, if someone earns more than you, you will feel less than if you know that you came to that relationship to provide. If you came to that relationship because you love, you would help each other up, pull each other up different income brackets and work together to make a good life for yourself. So at the end of the day, you have to be rooted in your masculinity, and as a female, you have to be rooted in your identity to work together as one.
Okay, let me hear from boyfriend, husband, man.
Well, I'm sorry, I want to digress a bit, but like, see the way you I'm giving my closer. See the way you subtly agreed that not having money as a man makes you feel less of yourself by saying, oh, if you do earn more than your husband, we're talking about emotions now. Whether you earn less or you earn more. No, I'm not supporting you. I'm trying to tell you, but then, yeah, being insecure is as a person, like you said. It's a personal thing. The idea of the man is a personal thing. Like me, I said now, okay, I don't feel insecure about my woman's money. But then if I'm in a situation where I can't provide for my loved ones, I am depressed.
Okay, let me find out because this is now a group activity, what your group members have to say.
I really liked what he said about when you come to your home, you're a husband and you are a boyfriend or whatever you are. But the idea of the man in society today still sadly is rooted in the fact of provision, still rooted in the fact of care. And a way that does that in a big way is through financial means. So if you don't have that means or someone else has it more than you, then you're not allowed to show that or show it in the dominant sphere. But when you come to the home, be the husband, be the boyfriend. So I support that. But still the idea of the man, which we should redefine, by the way, is financial provision.
Okay. Uche.
Once you are in a relationship, you guys should be partners and not individuals. You shouldn't stand as individuals. You should come together as partners. So in some sense, obviously, if she's any more than you, you should definitely step up in the house and all of that. But as a man, I still feel that you need to understand, like yourself, you need to understand your partner as well. You need to be able to step in to protect, to provide, to assist in the home and all of that. So I feel just coming together as a partnership would help a lot.
So at the beginning of this debate, we asked what happens if Mrs. Oga earns more than the Oga? Well, the thoughts were very diverse, but at the bottom of it, it has become very clear that provision and protection are two fundamental things that are expected from men. How exactly they go about it? Well, you better ask these two groups behind me. I'm Edith Kimani. This was so much fun. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Edith. That debate was quite eye-opening on the new roles that men are playing in today's working world. Remember, if you want to watch and comment on the full version of the street debates, you can always visit our YouTube channel. But let's not forget, men still earn and have earned more than women. And women want to redefine that. If we are going to be judged by the income we bring into the household, how about balance the scale for an equal and just society? Nora Awolowo, a self-taught Nigerian cinematographer, is carving her own path in the male-dominated film industry. She doesn't stand out because of her gender, but for her technical skills and unique creative input among her peers.
Like, check, this is where the camera is facing. Let's lit for this place. Now you're lighting for people, you're lighting people. Being a cinematographer as a lady in Nollywood, I don't think I see it as a challenge anymore. I think it's just me trying to just work on making sure whatever project I work on, I make sure I lay a very good foundation for whoever is coming, that they know that, oh, if Nora can do this and execute brilliantly, they can trust other women that are also coming into the game. So I try to make sure like I get these things right.
In Nigeria's thriving film industry, Nora Awolowo carved out her own path. In a space where women behind the camera are overlooked, she's risen to the top as an award-winning filmmaker. But she started out with a phone.
So I started cinematography because I got bored of photography. I needed something in the same like spare field that I found interesting. I still do photography though, but I try to make sure it's something that interests me, something that I love. It's different from what I've done before because now I'm trying to like prioritize like my passion and interest more over money. But I think what cinematography has taught me is collaboration and how knowing that you cannot do it alone. You are working with like different people. So every time there's a challenge or something, it is temporary in my opinion. Like in Nigeria, I would say problem no they finish. That means there's always going to be a problem, but just see it as a temporary problem that is going to go. When the result comes out, nobody even remembers like all of those problems that you face. Then you realize that it's actually a phase.
Nora's journey has been fueled by curiosity, passion, and a healthy dose of determination. Her first teachers were online videos.
First of all, I learned from YouTube, and there are people that are actually sharing their ideas and knowledge on these platforms. I try to make sure I watch a lot of movies. When I see something that I find very mind-blowing, I go check like a BTS of it. I try to watch a lot of behind-the-scene content. How did this person get this? How did this cinematographer get this? Also try to imitate what you've also learned from all of these things. I just want to make sure the shot is...
According to recent reports, only 4% of top box office cinematographers are women. In Nigeria, Nora Awolowo stands as the only female cinematographer at her level, collaborating with global giants like FIFA, Sony, and Canon. Her relentless drive has helped her reach new heights.
The most mind-blowing experience that I've had in my career over the years is getting flown by brands to do stuff. It's still exciting knowing somebody just pays your ticket and say, oh, we want you on our project, and you're flying around the world. I enjoy traveling so much. And it is exciting knowing that girl that did not have this kind of opportunity and now working with big brands like Sony, Canon. It's big because we have about 200 million people in Nigeria, and being selected and saying represents the country at certain stages, global stages, I think that's very huge for me. Went on to also win our prestigious AMVCA award in Nigeria, that's our Oscar in Nigeria. So every time I see that award in my house, that just solidified all the hard work I'd put in over the years for me.
Nora Awolowo's journey is a beacon for every dreamer. From a cell phone to screens across the world, her work is a testament to the power of persistence.
Regular Studios and Nora Awolowo, that's my company, that's my baby. We have Red Circle coming out, so that's my first executive produced film. The sky is not the limit for me. We're literally just starting out. It is a whole long journey, and we're ready to also journey through this and churning out great results, great content. Yeah, Nigerian stories to the world.
As if persistence in a male-dominated field is just not enough, women are fighting for fair treatment in labor wards too. In Cameroon, a sexologist, Linda Tako, is fighting against the mistreatment of women during childbirth, where force and silence have long been the norm. In my culture, for example, screaming and crying during delivery is seen as a sign of weakness. But Linda's movement, Netra Rose, is pushing for a dignified treatment of women in life's most vulnerable moments.
Linda Tako is on a mission. For the past 3 years, she's been helping women in Cameroon prepare mentally and physically for childbirth. Today, a group of mothers-to-be have gathered in a small Yaoundé clinic to hear her speak. Her movement was born from a chilling experience during a woman's birth in Tunisia.
When it was time to give birth, she closed her legs, she prayed and said she wasn't going to give birth. Why? Because she was in pain. My colleagues were looking at each other saying, what are we going to do? Because the baby was already in the process of arriving and was going to be in pain if we didn't do anything. So we ended up doing this 8-person delivery. We literally held this woman by force in a very violent way to make her give birth. We held her hands, her feet, we did a forceps, an episiotomy. In the end, the child was born, but the experience left its mark on me, and above all, it traumatized me.
The use of force during childbirth is a harsh reality in Cameroon's delivery wards. That's why Linda created Nurture on Rose, an organization dedicated to discouraging this practice in hospitals. They train midwives to handle patients with care and educate women on what to expect during childbirth.
Most of these are new activities. They are things that hardly exist in the Cameroonian context, if at all. So we have found a new solution for a new population, as we have just moved to Cameroon. So new products, new services, and a different environment make it very difficult to implement.
Thousands in Cameroon have benefited from her program. She reaches even more women through social media, which she also uses to raise funds. Today, Linda feels the impact of her work as she meets fellow returnees at the Belgian embassy.
I can assure you that when it all started, I was far from imagining that 10-11 years later, I'd still be working on this adventure and developing it in France, where I was for nearly 8 years, where I set up the Nurture en Rose Association, organized fundraising events, took part in conferences to publicize Notre en Rose, and now in Cameroon, where we've set up the Notre en Rose Center.
WHO statistics show that more than 1 in 3 women experience mistreatment during childbirth. That's why the 32-year-old is preparing to expand. With Notre en Rose already in France and Tunisia, Linda is now focused on reaching more women across Africa and beyond.
At the start, we asked, what happens when women earn more in their relationships? We've seen that women are earning more today, not to dominate, but to thrive on their own terms. Financial independence strengthens relationships by making them a choice and not a necessity. So it should be a good recipe for a healthy relationship. But can love and society keep up with women's success? You know where to find us on social media. Let's continue the conversation there. I was your host, Fatu Eli Kamuloshi. See you another time.